on the air. You're watching the next generation of news. 23 News at 6 starts now.
Good evening and welcome to 23 News at 6. I'm Mike Garrigan.
And I'm Whitney Martin. Thanks for joining us tonight. One local school district needs to figure out how to make $3 million in budget cuts. Coming up, 23 News reporter George Rodas will tell us what's on the chopping block.
Not an easy task. No. But first, here are tonight's headlines. Kristen Smith has officially pled not guilty to a federal kidnapping charge. She's the woman accused of taking her newborn nephew, Caden Powell, from his town of Beloit home earlier this month. Police say she left him outside a gas station in Iowa. Baby Caden was found alive more than 24 hours later, alive and well. Smith also faces a child endangerment charge. Meantime, convicted murderer Robert Lauer will remain locked up in prison. Today, the Prisoner Review Board denied him parole for the 19th time. Back in 1975, Lauer kidnapped, sexually assaulted, and killed 15-year-old Joey Didier while he was delivering newspapers. Lauer won't be eligible for parole again until 2019.
51-year-old Tina Stroman faces murder charges in connection to the overdose death of her 1-year-old granddaughter. Janesville police say she gave her daughter Tally methadone pills for pain. On Christmas night, Tally allegedly bit off a piece of that pill and gave it to her baby before bedtime. The next morning, the toddler was found dead. Tina is out of jail and will be back in court in March. She's still being held on $20,000 bond. New tonight at 6, a Rockford man is arrested for armed robbery after he's accused of targeting sellers on Craigslist. 22-year-old Travell Smith is accused of stealing phones and video game systems from people on Rockford's northwest side. Police say all of the victims posted items for sale on Craigslist. Smith is being held on a $130,000 bond.
The Rockford Fire Department no longer runs the aircraft rescue and firefighting services at RFD. The 9-year partnership with the airport officially ended this week when Green Bay, Wisconsin-based ProTech Fire Services took over the duties for half the cost to the airport. And Bay Valley Foods employees in Dixon will return to work on Sunday. The company says union members voted today and signed off on a new 3-year deal. More than 100 workers went on strike on February 6. Day 3 of the Cody Walsh murder trial is in the books, and tonight we are learning more about what happened inside the SUV on that deadly night. 23
News weekend anchor Marissa Shear has been following this case all week. She joins us live right now from the courthouse.
Yeah, we saw pictures today of a bloody scene that prosecutors say that the defendant, Cody Walsh, shot and killed Lori Daniels back in September 2012. Experts say Daniels' blood was found on a pair of shorts the DNA evidence proves were Walsh's. DNA testing also found bloody fingerprints on the SUV were also left by Walsh. Daniels' blood was all over the front seat of the car where she was sitting when she was shot and killed. A bloody baseball hat found near her feet also appears to have a bullet hole in the back and possibly gun residue in the front. Now, the prosecution expects to wrap up their case early tomorrow morning. Then the defense takes over. They're expected to call Ebert Davison back to the stand. You'll remember he's the only other person in the car when Lori Daniels was allegedly shot and killed. The defense says he's the one who pulled the trigger. Reporting live, Marissa Shear, 23 News. Mike and Whitney.
Okay, thanks, Marissa. And coming up tonight at 10, for the first time, we're going to see video of Cody Walsh being arrested in Tennessee. That was shown in court today, so we'll have that again tonight at 10. Meantime, we're going to have to dig deeper into our wallets to heat our homes. We're going to tell you about a price hike that's also coming up.
But first, it's time to check in with Chief Meteorologist Mark Henderson in the 23 Storm Team Weather Lab. Temperatures are headed in the right direction, it sounds like, but maybe not at the pace anyone wants.
Very, very slowly will we be heading in the right direction. And even though we will head in that right direction, we're not talking about anything that will even sniff normal anytime soon. So we'll temper our excitement just a little bit. Max Storm Tracker quiet. Thankfully, though, we don't see the wind chill advisories that are present. Got that sneeze again. This always happens. Up to the north and west, that's where we have those wind chill advisories presently in effect. Clear skies for us tonight will allow for a very, very rapid cool down in our temperatures. We're already down to 0 in Galena for our temperature here in Rockford. If there's something to be thankful for, it's the fact that we've got very little wind to speak of right now, and so wind chills, not a major ordeal, but still below 0 in many spots. Temperatures to head below 0 within the next hour or two, but that should be it for a while. Details on that and some weekend snow coming up.
Thanks,
All right,
Mark.
and take DayQuil, not NyQuil. We need you for at least another 4
Yeah,
hours
a little
here.
bit longer now.
If we aren't already been feeling the pain of the winter, we'll start to see it in our wallets due to a price hike with natural gas companies.
Yeah, Nicor customers could pay about 33% more next month. The Rock County Co-op reports people could see an almost 25% jump in their bills. Local gas suppliers say that price hike is due to record-setting cold temperatures and a high demand.
Farmers can find themselves in an unsafe situation at any point in a given day, and every so often it can lead to death.
23 News reporter Mike Buda tells us how one local man is sharing his emotional experience to help others prevent similar mistakes.
Roger Bates says he's lucky to be alive after being trapped in a grain bin last month for more than 5 hours. He's one of a few farmers able to share a story of survival.
I was one of the lucky ones. I made a drastic mistake, but I want to help many people and the firemen in case of another mistake that I made. Will make them safer to rescue somebody in a grain bin.
Bates is one of more than 20 people attending a workshop at Lena's Pearl City Elevator. It's a class aimed at saving lives across the state line, considering people have suffocated inside local grain bins.
I feel much more comfortable about it. I have 3 grandsons. I'm going to try to teach them. You try to prevent these problems before they start.
One of those problems happened just a few weeks ago after the 78-year-old went into his grain bin without a harness. He spent hours waist deep in corn until emergency crews were able to pull him out.
By preparing, by understanding the situation, you might be able to be rescued. But I think his bigger message is don't take the risks and precautions and get in that situation.
Organizers hope today's class saved 20 farmers from a potentially deadly situation. In Lena, Mike Buda, 23 News.
Today's workshop was a cooperative effort between University of Illinois Extension, Pearl City Elevator, and the Grain Handling Safety Coalition.
A lot of groups getting together today. All of that information provided will be on our web channel at WIFR.com, as well as that video again. You can see just kind of how the corn is working in those situations.
That's right, a big vote tonight in Stillman Valley as parents and teachers will learn just how bad budget cuts will be and which staff will be let go. 23
News reporter George Rodas is live right now at the Meridian Junior High School with more on tonight's meeting. George.
Well, Mike and Whitney, we're inside of the Meridian Junior High School gym. That's where tonight's meeting was moved to tonight. It's empty now, but the meeting was moved here in anticipation for big crowds as the district prepares to make cuts that could leave 20 or more faculty and staff members without a job. And tonight we find out just how bad those cuts will be. The district is looking for ways to overcome a more than $1 million budget deficit, and they'll begin tonight by holding a public hearing before the actual board meeting. That's when they'll tell parents and teachers what they plan to do to save the district money moving forward and who they'll be cutting from payroll. Now, the public will have a chance to speak at both meetings tonight. First, the public hearing, which starts at 7, and then the board meeting. But for now, live in Stillman Valley, George Rodas, 23 News. Mike and Whitney.
All right, thank you, George. And the board meeting will start right after the public hearing. It will be at the Meridian Junior High School boardroom.
We'll have more on that meeting tonight on the 23 News Update at 10.
Some of you early filers may have noticed your tax refund is a little bigger. Here's tonight's Money Watch. The average check is about $200 more than last year. Most tax filers are getting about $3,200 from the government. They say they will use the money to catch up on bills and pay down debt. Everything is awesome. And Lego is seeing an uptick in sales. The toy maker announced today that sales were up 10% in 2013. The good news comes while the Lego movie has topped the box office charts for the past 3 weeks. And on Wall Street, the Dow is on a 2-session win streak after picking up nearly 75 more points today. We'll have the local numbers later in the newscast.
And here's a look at what we're working on tonight for the 23 News Update at 10. It's one of Rockford's fastest growing problems, and certain neighborhoods are feeling the pain more than others.
Right now, Mike, this is the problem. It used to be drugs. It's not anymore. This is the problem. The abandoned homes.
The amount of condemned homes in Rockford has tripled over the last 2 years. We'll tell you just how many, what dangers they cause, and what the city is trying to do to help reverse the trend. A closer look at Rockford's condemnation crisis tonight on 23 News Update at 10.
What's still ahead on 23 News at 6? If you love animals, you're going to want to listen to this. A local fire department now has a tool to help save the lives of our furry friends. It's all coming up next.